How do you know that God exists? How do you know? I mean, really exists. When someone asks you if God exists, what do you say?
Of course.
Why don't we give it a try? Pick a partner. Just any partner. Pick somebody that's near you. And one person's going to ask the question, how do you know God exists? And then the other person answers what their answer is going to be. And then you switch roles. And the other person asks the question, how do you know God exists? And the other person answers the question. Married couples or couples, why don't you split up, and so you're having to answer to somebody else? Because every time I give the answer to my wife, I'm wrong. So, poor me. So here we go. Go ahead. How do you know God exists? Now the other person has to answer the question. How do you know God exists? How do you know God exists? It's the same question. Everybody has answers.
You can't just choose the other person's answer.
Okay. We're back. We're back. We're back. Al, when did I lose control? Okay. What were some answers that you heard? What were some answers that you heard? Anybody? Miracles.
Comfort.
What?
Comfort.
Comfort.
I feel him in my life every day.
I feel him in my life every day.
Beauty.
What's that?
Beauty.
The beauty of the world. Looking in a newborn's eyes. Where is there somebody back here that says
Being here.
being here? Simply being.
Talk to him.
Pardon? I talk to him. Absolutely. What else? The blessings I've received.
Then
What else?
Then why would I be here to do any good?
Why would I be here to do any good? Says the person going to nursing school. Oh, that he said. Says the person that's giving the medicine to the people. Any other answers? Aren't these wonderful? Yes, Rick.
He grows great raspberries.
He grows great raspberries. Living in Hopkins, don't we know that's true?
All the lights were green for me on the way to church today.
All the lights were green.
God exists. Would you repeat that again? It was your wife?
No, all the lights were green on the way to church.
All the lights were green on the way to church today. I thought you said my wife agreed with me today.
Which is a miracle. Oh.
You're hearing what you want to hear.
Oh. They're all wonderful answers, aren't they? They're all true, aren't they? They're very different, but they are all true. That's what Moses was trying to deal with. He had a group of people down in the valley. He was up on the mountain, and he was saying, God, you got to help me try to explain who you are. You made me your leader, or you said you did, and they're just not getting it down there. I need some help. There's a story about another group of people that needed some help. It comes from a story written by Dr. Scott Peck, M. Scott Peck. Many of you know him from Road Less Traveled or Different Drums, some of those books that came out about 20, 30 years ago. And it's a story of a small community that was dying. And they needed to know that God was there. Let me tell you this story. The story concerns a monastery that had fallen upon hard times. Once a great order, as a result of waves of anti-monastic persecution in the 17th and 18th centuries and the rise of secularism in the 19th, all its branch houses were lost and it had become decimated to the extent that there were only 5 monks left in the decaying mother house, the abbot and 4 others, all over 70 in age. Clearly, it was a dying order. In the deep woods surrounding the monastery, there was a little hut that a rabbi from a nearby town occasionally used for a hermitage. Through their many years of prayer and contemplation, the old monks had become a bit psychic, so they could always sense when the rabbi was in his hermitage. "The rabbi is in the woods. The rabbi is in the woods again," they would whisper to one another. As he agonized over the imminent death of his order, it occurred to the abbot at one such time to visit the hermitage and ask the rabbi if by some possible chance he could offer any advice that might save the monastery. The rabbi welcomed the abbot to his hut, but when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. "I know how it is," he exclaimed. "The spirit has gone out of the people. It is the same in my town. Almost no one comes to the synagogue anymore." So the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together. Then they read parts of the Torah and quietly spoke of deep things. The time came when the abbot had to leave. They embraced one another. "It has been a wonderful thing that we should meet after all these years," the abbot said, "but I have still failed in my purpose for coming here. Is there nothing you can tell me? No piece of advice you can give me that would help me save my dying order?" "No, I am sorry," the rabbi responded. "I have no advice to give. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you." When the abbot returned to the monastery, his fellow monks gathered around to ask him, "Well, what did the rabbi say?" "He couldn't help," the abbot answered. "We just wept and read the Torah together. The only thing he did say, just as I was leaving, it was something cryptic, was that the Messiah is one of us. I don't know what he meant." In the days and weeks and months that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's words. The Messiah is one of us? Could he possibly have meant one of us monks here in the monastery? If that's the case, then which one? Do you suppose he meant the abbot? Yes, if he meant anyone, it's probably Father Abbot. He has been our leader for more than a generation. On the other hand, he might have meant Brother Thomas. Certainly Brother Thomas is a holy man. Everyone knows that Thomas is a man of light. Certainly he could not have meant Brother Elred. Elred gets crotchety at times. But come to think of it, even though he is a thorn in people's sides, when you look back on it, Elred is virtually always right. Often very right. Maybe the rabbi did mean Brother Elred, but surely not Brother Philip. Philip is so passive, a real nobody. But then, almost mysteriously, he has a gift for somehow always being there when you need him. He just magically appears by your side. Maybe Philip is the Messiah. Of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. He couldn't possibly have meant me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet supposing he did. Suppose I am the Messiah. Oh God, not me. I couldn't be that much for you, could I? As they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect on the off chance that one among them might be the Messiah. And on the off chance that each monk himself might be the Messiah, they began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect. Because the forest in which it was situated was beautiful, it so happened that people still occasionally came to visit the monastery, to picnic on its tiny lawn, to wander along some of its paths, even now and then to go to the dilapidated chapel to meditate. As they did so, without even being conscious of it, they sensed the aura of something extraordinary, an extraordinary respect that now began to surround the 5 old monks and seemed to radiate out from them and permeate the atmosphere of the place. There was something strangely attractive. They began to bring their friends. They began to show them this special place. And their friends brought their friends. And then it happened. Some of the younger men who came to visit the monastery started to talk more and more with the old monks. After a while, one of them asked if he could join them. Then another, and another. So within a few years, the monastery had once again become a thriving order, and thanks to the Rabbi's gift, a vibrant center of light and spirituality in the realm. Now this story will mean different things to different people. Just like the Exodus story, what does God look like? I could preach this story in a number of churches, and it will mean something different. What does it mean to you? Just like our vision statement. Our vision statement is what? Loving God with all our heart, mind, body, and soul, and our neighbors as ourselves. I believe in this love. The laughter, the smiling, the joy that you feel when other people are answering these questions about who is God. How do you know that God exists? This is real. This is important. This is respect. And this is the shining light of this congregation. The simple fact that you honored one another's answers, even though they might not be your own, tells us that we honor and respect one another. Another form of love. Another heartbeat of life. Is God here? All I can tell you is the Messiah is one of us.